No, I can't hear you. You can't hear any of us. I know with the iPhones, it takes a minute for the audio to connect. You need to.
Yo, yo, mic check.
Mm. Okay, now it's connecting to audio. Now unmute yourself. Let me unmute you. Yeah, unmute yourself. Don't crash.
Right, that man making it happen, trying to.
Right. You might want to unmute him. Because trying to drive and unmute himself at the time.
It's like ask to unmute. It doesn't.
Yeah, I see the mute on his shit.
Do you at least hear us now? Okay.
I hear you. I just unmuted me. I can hear you. I can hear y'all now. I couldn't hear y'all. I'm trying to read the lips. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. And drive. In the flood. I'm good. And the tornado warning.
You agreed to 9 o'clock, sir. No, full well. Did you agree to
Hey, look, I did agree at 9 o'clock, but understand, I didn't know that I was going to be teaching all night tonight. I just finished swinging by. You know that's my shit. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm here. Now. Focus her. Let's go. Money.
Running. He ready.
No. So before I start recording, let me just do a quick introduction. Oh,
Yo,
Salmon, Mike.
what's happening, fellas? What's happening?
No. Yeah.
Okay. And I haven't had a chance to talk to you all individually today, but did everybody get that screenshot that I sent out?
Yup.
Yeah.
I read.
I didn't see it. What time did you send it? Because I've been thinking about it.
I sent it to you the other day when we talked about doing this.
What's?
Mike is my regular co-host on my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna find the shit my damn self. We talk too much.
What's the subject of the night? Like, what we doing with it? Where we going with it? Miss Asia.
Well, the reason why I wanted to do this is because I've had I did an interview with Boss, I did an interview with Sam, I did a podcast with Mike, and in all three of those conversations, all three of you said pretty much the same thing at some point, which was you were either a little taken aback when you were told or approached by a woman, basically saying that how black men need to step up and really my internet y'all can still see me clearly, right? Because my laptop.
Okay.
So, how y'all were all taken aback when there was, the comment was made that black men need to step up for black women, and how we don't feel protected by you, or, and all of you had the same reaction to that, which was like, what? Not me. So I thought it was interesting because I didn't discuss any of those conversations with the other ones. So I said, there's an opportunity here for us to have that conversation, or more for you to have that conversation. So my job tonight is to just be more of the moderator, as we kind of delve into what that is. And now we could go however you want to go with it. That's why I just wanted to have a brief check-in. We were supposed to do that for the first 5 minutes at 9:43.
Ma'am.
Just we were supposed to do that initially, so that's not what I had did. So I just kind of wanted to figure out from you guys how you want to approach that conversation, and then I can just introduce it, and then we can just kind of run it. I don't want to just like throw something out there and then y'all just like, what? You know what I mean?
I like that. I think if we get our three perspectives on a few subjects or questions that or feelings that women have, and let's hear the real perspective from three different men.
You want me to speak on the behalf of all women?
Nah,
No, you're just asking the questions.
just asking a few questions that are, you know, things that you, when you're in a group of women or amongst ladies, you know, and y'all conversating, what are you saying about us, but we're not there. Now let us in on that conversation. Yeah, like let us respond the way we would respond if we could hear what you guys think or what you're feeling or what you're saying about us. And that step up thing, like what you mean? Step up for you, like what? When we try, you do this. Do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can go a lot of ways with this now.
You want to just do one question at a time, like, cause it's 9:45, so you want to
Yeah, come on, let's
do
crank
one
it up.
question, and then maybe we'll meet back and then do another question.
Okay.
Come on with it.
I think I know how I want to approach it. I'm going to read something, and then I want to hear your opinions on it as men. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Run
All
it.
right, let's go ahead and hit this record button. All right. So we are recording, gentlemen. And I am the Eddie Queen, so don't worry, I'll make sure you look good.
Right.
Let's do it.
So, all right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Hershey Me Presents Real Talk podcast. My name is Asia, and today I have the honor and the privilege of having three gentlemen with me. I have Mike, my regular co-host.
I'm here. Good night. You know what I'm saying?
I also have Sam here with us,
How y'all doing?
and I have Nature Boy Boss with us as well.
Top of the evening.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate you guys all being willing to come and have this conversation. In the last couple of weeks, I've had individual conversations with all of you via my Conversations with the Grown Man series, and I just thought it would be interesting to bring you all on at the same time and discuss a couple of things. Okay? So I want to start off by reading this to you. Bear with me for a moment. I lost it again.
All right, tighten up now.
We talk entirely too much. Okay, there. All right. Black women are amongst the highest educated population in the world, and yet they are often passed over, taken for granted, discredited, and even sexualized as they try to build meaningful careers and lives for themselves. Voicing our support for Black women is necessary, but not sufficient. Amplifying the voices of Black women is necessary, but not sufficient. Chanting the mantra of protect Black women at all costs is necessary, but not sufficient when we're not prepared for all of the costs. All of it falls short until we, as men, are no longer passively engaged in feminist resistance. A resistance where we begin by identifying the misogyny within, not only when it's overt, but more importantly, when it's covert and subtle. A resistance where we are faced with ourselves and the circles we engage in. A resistance where men shut the fuck up when women have the floor and loud the fuck up when we see some fuck shit within our own backyard. So that was an op-ed that was written about what Black men need to be doing in order to support Black women. I'd love to hear your opinions on that piece, and if you think it's accurate, if you think it's missing something.
Who wrote this?
I will add that information in, but right now I just have the screenshot.
I think Jadena wrote it, didn't he?
A friend of his wrote it, and he
okay.
reposted it. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
So I can edit this part out, and I can add that in.
Okay.
I'll add it on the bottom of the screen. Who actually put that in there?
well, yeah. I mean, I agree with it. I think it was eloquently put, and it was directly to the point. But when we did our last interview, I said something similar and something along the same lines. And I think that it's difficult sometimes for men to point out our own misogyny, which is why when a sister says, "Oh no, I don't feel protected," like you have to check yourself because your first inclination is to say, "What you mean? I protect all the women I know," but she's not talking about you. She's talking about in general. So once you remove yourself from the situation or turn a mirror towards yourself and say, maybe there were some situations where I did some things that weren't okay. And like it said, it's not always about the overt things. Sometimes it's about the covert things. Sometimes it's, a woman's trying to voice her opinion and it's you telling her, no, that's not how she feels. Like, as a grown man, I don't want nobody telling me how I feel. I'm smart enough to know exactly how I feel. So don't tell me that's not how I feel. So if it's a woman that you're talking to and not a child, then you should expect that she would feel the same way. So yeah, I agree with you, Jacob.
And I experienced the same that situation. And like we did, I said in my interview, we came back. I came in on the back end of the conversation, and it was a statement made that we're not protecting our women. And I was in my head, like, what are you talking about? I'm out here, Boys and Girls Club. I'm out here, doctor school. I'm out here coaching. I'm trying to build better black boys to become good black boys to become better black men. To combat that misogyny that we feel. How is it that I'm not protecting black women? Or how is it that you don't feel that I'm doing my part? So I was in my head too, but I had to stop and listen to, okay, now I understand. And it's crazy to understand. In that understanding, I found out, doing digging, doing research, that there are more women that have been victimized in this police brutality movement of Black Lives than there have been men. But we only find out about a few of those women. And I'm not sure the exact date, but there's a list going back years of almost 100 women that have been killed, not victimized, killed in police brutality. And I guarantee you right now, you can probably only name 4. That's crazy.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
But even in the statement you read, everything in there, I believe is true. But at the same time, I do feel, let me play devil's advocate. But in the feminist movement, you want us to protect you, but then you want to do it by yourself. I understand the independence. I understand where you're going, but don't fight me because I'm doing what you want me to do. Stand down.
Cool.
I mean,
Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just gonna say, I've just learned. Cause I felt the exact same way, but I have learned that it's like children, right? And no disrespect to any woman, I don't mean it in that way, but you give different. Like when you're trying to teach a kid how to read, or you're teaching a classroom full of kids how to do math, you give every child something different because they require something different. And you know what I'm saying, dealing with different women, I've learned that protection comes in different forms. Like, I got one homegirl that doesn't want me to do anything physical for her. She feels like I'm encroaching when I lift something for her, or I move her TV, or I move her couch. She feels like she got that. But she wants me to, I don't know, stand up for her opinion or back her up. That's how I protect her, by backing her up when she handles her business. So she says whatever she got to say. It's let her do her thing, and nobody in here better not say nothing about it. But I got another homegirl. She don't want to lift nothing. She don't want to, but that's cool. She wants me to play that role. So I think it's just about finding the particular person and giving them what they need. And that's something that it took me a long time to learn that. Because I was the same way as you. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm trying to do and you won't let me do. But then I realized that's not what you want from me.
And with that said, you go back to what the book the guy wrote, and all he did was just put a different cover on every book, just saying love language for men, love language for women. All he did was change the cover. Just it's the same book. I bought 3 of them. I got hit in the head. Pop. But people have just like that, different love language. And it's a part, and you're right. People want to feel protected in a different way. So it's about finding that niche with that one particular person.
Absolutely.
Boss, you want to give your opinion on that piece?
Oh,
On
man,
that snippet?
I got layers, man. I'm gonna do this for y'all. I'm gonna take you back to the construct in which we live in, the Americas. It's been a lot of wars, and it's been an ongoing war between man and woman, period, all over the world. So, being raised by generations of women, I do have that personal sense of protecting and taking care of them. But I will admit, coming into a world where they allow for brothels to be a thing, that now my city is known for strip clubs more than anything else. And we gotta understand. I understood the piece. I get it. But women have a war they're waging with each other where they don't even get along. So to put pressures upon us as if we're not doing our part as a whole or individually, you have to look in within self. Like, why do a lot of you all bicker and hold on to things as to why y'all don't have each other's back? Because you wouldn't need our back so much if y'all were as tight as you were. Networking with one another and letting each other know, like, if you run into a dangerous one of us, why isn't it a hotline or a web page or app at this point that Reggie will fuck your life up if you fuck with Reggie? There's no real communication. So like both of the men spoke on, trying to help a woman across the board doesn't exist, because all of you are damn near different. As much as you are the same, you're different. And because of your traumas and the things that you've gone through, you look at us a certain way where you don't want to give us that full, crown as being what we're supposed to be. Like, the natural order is off. So if the natural order is off, what are you expecting? Until we figure out a lot more things, because you got to understand the wage of war between us was implicated by, an entity that is meant for man and woman, especially us, to be at each other or against each other. So that's my initial thoughts to it, because it's layered in so many levels, as we're not right, so everything is off. That's my point.
You guys want to respond to that, or you want me to respond to all of it?
I think I'm just a firm believer that queen business is queen business. Like, I used to get into the whole, I want sisters to only have natural hair, and you don't love yourself if you don't wear natural hair. And then somebody told me, well, sometimes natural hair is a little bit hard to deal with, than just being able to Nicki Minaj and switch a wig out every couple of days or whatever. Then I said, damn, okay, man, that's queen business. You don't wear no wig. You don't wear no weed. You don't really know anything about this. You're commenting what you think you know, but you don't really know because you don't wear wigs. And I was like, yeah, at that point I learned that ain't my business. So whatever internal strife the queens got going on, that's their business. You know what I'm saying? Queens raise queens, kings raise kings. Like, we're not coming in here trying to save women from women. We're trying to protect women from men. Because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know,
so
the problem with that
internal
is,
strife and all that other type of stuff, we can't hold people to an impossible standard. Like, all men don't get along. So that would be ridiculous to think that all women would get along.
not to say they should. I'm speaking to an eternal situation when I say it's layered. Me and Asia spoke on something I didn't know. I'm very close connected to the women, so I do get why they wear the wigs or whatnot. But a lot of this comes from, a lot of real women will tell you, if they don't have that wig or that makeup or that whatever, they're a complete mess of themselves. They don't love themselves. They're not cute at all. And you could love her to death. You hear me? You could think she everything and some more things, but to her personally, she's depressed if she doesn't have a certain look, a certain way. And that's the only issue I have with knowing women personally, that they have hair. It's about effort sometimes. It's about how they're being raised. They got issues with their mother. We have issues with our fathers and our mothers and so on and so forth. That's why I'm saying, like, it's a lot of disconnect. So we got to do our whole part to protect them. We gotta help each other in a lot of more areas. Like, it's deeper than just protecting them. Like, we thrown off a little bit. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't hold them to the standard because I'm willing to go there with them, and I understand I gotta grow, I gotta learn. But it's family structure, how things are perceived, and the way we come up. We're not really talking to each other day to day because, like you said that's their business, but we don't know each other's business because we don't know what each other's going through. We only see what people allowing, but we don't see the hurt and the issues as to why they live the way they live. So we're not really doing anything about it. We're just like, a lot of dudes get with women and they like, oh, that's just Tanya. That's just her. And you like, between me and you, she could kind of work on that. But because you getting what you get out of it and then it ain't your business, you just let Tanya be that way. But she rude. She not courteous. She talk about people. She do little certain shit that she wouldn't want nobody doing her like that. So we got to hold each other to a standard of accountability. That's all I was trying to say.
I mean, I dig, but we don't want to confuse, personality issues with men protecting women against misogyny. Because that's really all this conversation is about. Like,
that's why I say I go layered.
And all that stuff. It's very true. I'm not going to say it's
how
not
do
true,
we protect
really,
them? How do we protect our women? How do we protect our women from?
I want to touch on something because I remember in our interview, Sammy, you said how when the whole WAP thing came out, right? And how you had to kind of check your homeboys in the studio because they were all, coming at Cardi and Megan about the lyric and the content. And it was like, wait, we've been putting out this kind of music. What you talking about? And now, we're Cardi filing for divorce. There's a lot of focus online on, well, look, this is what she was representing, and now he's divorcing her. No focus really on the fact that, like, well, why is she divorcing him? He's not divorcing her. She's divorcing him, right? Like, it once again is turning into a situation where she took her power back and decided that relationship wasn't working, whether he was cheating or whatever. We don't know what was happening behind those closed doors, but we can take a guess based on what the public knows of history. So, but the world, as in social media, is attacking her. You get what I'm saying? Like they're attacking her because of a song she put out, but there's not a conversation where people are men, other men are checking him. You know what I mean? Like, why are you cheating? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? How, like I know, like I said, with you, you actually had that conversation with your friend, but how do you navigate that? Because with, fighting, part of fighting misogyny, as Mike said, is that you got to have those conversations internally. You got to have those conversations with other men. You don't got to tell women about misogyny. We know. You know what I mean? So, you don't got to tell us. So how do you have those conversations with other men? It's open for anybody.
Well, with having those conversations with other men, a lot of times it's that point where somebody makes that comment, like you said, using that as reference, that Cardi B situation, and checking them there. It might be as simple as, for the most part, as you, Sandman mentioned about him having different friends. I've talked to different females, and I'm amazed. I am amazed at how men today approach women. So it may be something like that, having that type of conversation, getting back to the point where you're saying, being a real gentleman in a situation, you know what I'm saying, to women. But it gets convoluted because at the same time you get, you know what I'm saying, some women get suspicious because now they don't expect me, you know what I'm saying, they don't expect you, other people to be,
Oh, wait, we lost him.
His phone died.
No, I think he got a call. You want to go ahead and big split and I can chop in through the edit?
Oh yeah, man. I think it's just important that dudes check other dudes when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I feel like one thing my mom taught me: whenever something really bothers you about another person and you can't put your finger on it, it's usually because they're exemplifying something that bothers you about yourself. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said last time, when dudes get in their feelings or dudes feel like they're not in control, or they're kind of emotional or whatever, or I shouldn't say, because there's nothing wrong with being emotional. When they're not in control of their emotions, then sometimes they lash out, and when they lack control, they lash out, so they get upset. But like, why would you want to revel in someone else's demise? Like, that's sad. That's sad for black people in general. Like, they're getting divorced. They're two young people with some kids. Like, that ain't no good look. It's not a good look, period. Like, it don't matter who's at fault. It's not a good look. That's a sad day. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it.
Boss, you got an opinion?
Oh, always. You because we're limited on this particular issue, but I'm gonna take you back to Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Trina days. I'm gonna take you back to 90 through 96 in Atlanta, Georgia, where Freaknik was the home, where in the streets you could see some shit that I only seen on a VHS, with no labeling on it. And it's you gotta understand, our city was like, you can come here and do all your sexual prowess, and that stayed here. You gotta understand, when you say protect our women, man, I love people, period. But especially, I'm innately wanting to protect anyone who I feel like may not be able to protect themselves. That's a man included. But our women for sure. But I've lived my whole life trying to say, baby, if you're going to do it this way, because I watch how my mama did, I watch how my grandma did, I watch how my great-grandma did it. They did everything with precaution and safety, and with a safety net and a backup plan, and somebody knew, and uncle knew, and daddy knew, and people knew where you was, and it was a community. All I'm saying is a lot of our sisters get out here trying to navigate by themselves, and it's hard to protect them when we don't know what they up to. You know what I mean? It's hard to protect them because I know you personally. You know, I met you. How did you feel? You felt safe. You felt, but I don't know if you meet another guy, how's he gonna act in your company? Will we be there to know, to protect you if he get out of line? Go ahead, bro.
You gotta unmute, Mike. You're muted. Okay, go ahead.
Across the board, where women across the board, that doesn't matter. The community of women, as far as that protection, that entity of protection goes. It's not just one particular person. We're trying to build, just like with the Black Lives Matter issue. You hear all lives matter. Okay, and they do. That is a true statement. But until people recognize that in the eyes of what is America now, that we matter less than other lives, that all lives matter shit go out the window. So it doesn't matter about where one particular person or one particular female, as far as her protection. We're talking about the community of females.
Well, can I say this, though? As a woman, I can interject. This is what I'll say. Typically, and maybe this is one of those things where men don't get that, but it's like, if I'm going out on a date, I'm not calling any men in my circle to tell them where I am, usually. Because that's not really a thing. That doesn't really exist. So women do lean into each other. If I go on a date, best believe I walk behind your car, take a picture of your license plate, I send it to my girlfriend. I'm dropping my pin, I'm dropping my location. We set up systems amongst ourselves, essentially. You know what I mean? Because you don't feel that big brother protection or that, you know what I mean? Or that, you know, like I said in our conversation, but it's like, if my tire explodes on the side of the road, like, who can I call? You know what I mean? It's that same level of, not camaraderie, but just that, like, protection that you used to feel. It doesn't exist in the same way anymore. And a lot of that, I feel like when women started saying that we wanted to be more independent, it did not mean that we cut you out the picture. It just means we wanted to stand up on our own a little bit more, too. Because you got to understand, like, for just black people alone, we had to fight to get to a certain point. But as a woman, we had to fight. That road was longer for us. You know what I mean? Because black men got certain rights and privileges before we did. So for us, it's not about negating the role of the black man or the man or any of those things. It's like, I'm just trying to get to where you are. You know what I mean? And that's what I think a lot of that independence, that feminist is like, I want to be able to work just as hard as you and make the same amount of money. I want to be able to go out in the world and do the same things you can do and get the same results and not be looked at or expected to be less because I happen to be born with a uterus and you didn't. You know what I mean? So that has been an ongoing conversation between me and my girlfriend, which is we often have to, as women, tread the line of, I want to be strong and I want to be independent and I want to get for myself and I want to do for myself, but I have to always be careful to not emasculate the man that I'm with. I have to always be careful to never make him feel like I'm stepping on his neck or stepping on his toes or that I'm stepping into his role or his position. And there are men who are...
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. There are some men that feel that way. That is, you know what I'm saying? Because if you take on that role, because they'll get mad because, hey, you didn't call me to change your tire.
Yeah, or... So we would joke amongst ourselves that, like, when you get a good job, you never tell the man you with how much money you make, especially if you know you make more money than him. So if you know that you make more money, and that's not for every man. I'm not speaking to every man. I'm just saying in general because I saw all your faces. I'm like, if you make more money than him, you don't tell him that you make more money than him because he gonna feel away. He gonna feel away. He's gonna feel like you're trying to be a man. You hear men say a lot all the time, like, "Oh, she want to be me, then she can do it on her own. She don't need me. What she need me for?"
Ma'am.
Yeah, and what they sound like when they say that, children. That's what children say. Let me take my ball and go home. Oh, I didn't get picked to play. Let me take my ball and go home. Man, that's less than G individuals. Like, that's why I be talking about this. Man, some of these dudes, man, I don't understand because I have always been a G individual. I've always, if I am, let's say I'm not married, but if I do get married and my wife makes substantially more than me, yeah, I'm gonna feel some kind of way, but I'm gonna open my mouth and I'm gonna say, God damn, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, this shit is killing me. Woo, Lord, I saw your paycheck the other day. But I'm man enough to open my mouth and say that. That don't make her manly. That don't make me feminine. That don't make anything. But when dudes get caught up in fragile male egos and, misogyny makes men feel trapped and feel like they can't just open their mouth and say something, that's when we have these situations. Oh, she don't need me. I'm going to just bounce. I'm going to neglect my other responsibilities because what? Because she make more than you, or because I'm in my feelings and I don't know how to just say I'm in my feelings. So yeah, no, you're right.
If the misconception from earlier,
and I've personally been in that situation. I didn't feel the way. I was happy. Like, hey, I got a raise.